Thank you, Mr. Speaker. That concludes the opposition business of the day, and I turn it over to the government House Leader for hours and extended hours for tomorrow, and that we're getting close to the hour of interruption, but the business for tomorrow and the hours, and I'm just trying to catch somebody's eye here, and I'll take my seat now.
Thank you. Chair now recognizes the Honourable Government House Leader.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Tomorrow's business, the House shall sit from 12 noon to 8 p.m. The routine shall be following the daily routine. Then we'll have question period. Following question period, we'll have address going into supply, the Committee of the Whole House on supply, and then we'll have public bills for second reading. They will include consideration, Mr. Speaker, of Bill number 120, 126, 81, 127, 130, 131, 133, 135, and 138. I move the House do now rise, Mr. Speaker, and meet tomorrow at the hour of 12 noon.
Thank you. The motion before the House is for the House to rise and meet again at 12 noon until 8 p.m. tomorrow night. Is the House ready for the question? Question has been called. All those in favour of the motion, please say aye. All those against, motion carried. We have now arrived at the moment of interruption. The adjournment debate was chosen and announced earlier. Be it resolved that the House recognize the immense talents of staff at Warewell Garments of Pictou County, as well as the business expertise displayed daily by the company owners, which has made Warewell Garments an outstanding Pictou County business for the past 37 years. Chair now recognizes the honourable member from Pictou Centre.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I am very pleased to stand here tonight and speak about a very viable and sustainable company. Mr. Speaker, Warewell Garments Company was founded in 1970 and is located in Stellarton, Nova Scotia. Warewell Garments Company is a full-line manufacturer of work apparel for institutional, industrial, food service, and corporate markets. Mr. Speaker, Warewell Garments has based its reputation on providing superior customer satisfaction, superior quality, and superior selection. Their line of work apparel is continually evolving to meet better the demands of customers and industries. Mr. Speaker, when most people think of the garment industry, they envision row upon row of sewing machines. Those days are long gone. And in North America, so are most of the jobs. The garment industry was among the first sectors in the Canadian economy to be hit by low wage, by highly competitive offshore producers. Mr. Speaker, by the time Fraser McLean and his son Sterling purchased Warewell Garments in 1978, the protectionist walls that had shielded the industry in North America for so long were falling quickly or already down. Warewell did see some dark days in the 1980s and early 1990s. Mr. Speaker, also at this time, large sectors of the provincial economy were facing hardships. Warewell had long been focused on selling uniforms to the healthcare and fishing industries. However, with healthcare budgets slash and fish processing in crisis, it was a case of diversify or die. Mr. Speaker, Warewell Garments had to quickly become a Canadian company, not just a maritime company. Warewell President Sterling McLean comments, outside the Maritimes, the market changes. Negotiated contracts often mandated the use of uniform rental companies by large manufacturers, such as those in the auto industry. As a result, companies like Cintas and Canadian Linden are now two of our biggest customers. Mr. Speaker, and other clients' growth from a regional operation to a national operation has also had a big impact on Wearwell Garments. Sobeys Incorporated, another Stellarton-based company, expanded its operations across Canada in 1998 and is still expanding. The grocery distributor now owns or franchises 1,300 stores in 10 provinces. That is a lot of uniforms. Mr. Speaker, Wearwell Garments occupies over 40,000 square feet of production space and employs a staff of 86. Technology and modernization have been key factors to the longevity of this family business. Mr. Speaker, innovation has secured clients from across Pictou County, Nova Scotia, Canada, and the United States. Their production and distribution facilities serve such customers as Michelin Tire, Nova Scotia Liquor Corporation, Tim Hortons, Sobeys, McCain's, Apple Auto Glass, and Canadian Linen, just to name a few. Mr. Speaker, hits on their website, www.wearwellgarments.com, come from all around the world. Sales have been expanded by enabling companies to order online. Business-to-business sales sends customer orders directly to Wearwell's distribution center. Orders can be placed without ever stepping foot inside the facility. Mr. Speaker, all Wearwell brand garments are produced with quality as the first priority. From the initial in-house design through production, inspection, and finally shipping, Wearwell Garments pays strict attention to detail, ensuring their customers receive the best products available. Their manufacturing facilities and close relationships with suppliers allow Wearwell Garments to provide one-off items and full head-to-toe uniform coverage. Mr. Speaker, clients' needs are never overlooked. All individuals and businesses, big or small, are treated with the same degree of respect and enthusiasm. The positive response from the local community has been a key ingredient to Wearwell's longevity. Mr. Speaker, individual account representatives work one-on-one with their clients to ensure full understanding of the work environment. Customers are known by name and are never just a number. An on-site designer is able to adjust existing patterns and create new ones to suit each customer's individual need. Mr. Speaker, promotional products still comprise a large percentage of Wearwell Garments sales. They produce and distribute t-shirts, sweaters, jackets, hats, skirts, pants, and many other pieces specifically for individualized events or clients. Staff clothing needs are met by Wearwell Garments. Community and fundraising events sport Wearwell products as well. Adding a company name or logo to a garment is a finishing touch that guarantees representatives from your company will be recognized. Customized logoing adds value and uniqueness to any garment. Mr. Speaker, embroidery is performed at the Stellarton facility as well. With the recent purchase of a new 8-head bar-and-end embroidery machine, they now have expanded their capacity for more business. This capability allows for lower costs and adds to production efficiency. Orders are completed in a timely manner. Additional services include garment identification and heat sealing labeling, wrapping individual employee orders, and a complete line of promotional products. Mr. Speaker, Wearwell Garments' flexible marketing strategy of go where the customers are and where they want to be demonstrates a commitment to self-improvement. Company initiatives over the years read like a veritable laundry list of total quality management recommendations. Everything from undertaking its own total quality management program to new equipment purchases plant modernization and expansion, advanced technology utilization, productivity reviews, and lean manufacturing training. In 2007, cap cutting of fabric was introduced to the factory. Mr. Speaker, Warewell's ability to design and deliver uniforms 4 weeks from the date of order is hard to beat. The company's efforts to serve customers and staff were recognized when Warewell Garments was named 2004-2005 Business of the Year by the Pictou County Chamber of Commerce. Then Chamber President Luke Young commented, "Warewell is an example of a company in Pictou County that is constantly innovating and challenging itself to do better. The McLean family always has the community's best interests at heart. They take an interest in things that might not be directly connected to their business, but to the community at large." Mr. Speaker, to quote President Sterling McLean, "Warewell Garments uniforms are comfortable, in style, and perhaps not surprisingly, they wear well." Thank you.
Thank you. The honourable member from Pictou East.
Well, thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. I'm delighted to stand up and speak tonight in relationship to Warewell Garments because I'd like to sort of set the stage for where Warewell actually is located. It is in Pictou Centre, but my hometown of Westville, the friendly town of Westville, is a stone's throw away from Warewell Garment. It actually is. You can leave the town and come into Pictou Centre, and there is Warewell. So I want to talk about Warewell, but Warewell, even the products have been outlined by the member for Pictou Centre. So what I do want to say about that company is that it has existed for 37 years. It does, in fact, employ 86 people. It does contribute to Pictou County. I wish that the member for Pictou Centre had a late debate for us on Trenton Works and the pension shortfall and Greenbrier's abandonment of Pictou County and the hundreds of steel workers and the scores and scores of office workers. But tonight we are, in fact, dealing with Warewell. And Warewell is a firm that does create stability. And we need firms like Warewell. We need firms that have a long-standing history in our county. And Mr. Speaker, there are a lot of businesses like Warewell. I could mention several of them in my own writing, but what I'd like to do is talk for a moment on a positive note, because the News, the daily paper in Pictou County, last Saturday had a progress issue. And that progress issue outlined many, many businesses in Pictou County that are contributing to our economy. And I have to say that the good member for Pictou West and I had a full page extolling the work that is being done in relationship to rural economic development and small town issues. And we take great pride in working on some of those issues. We take great pride on working with the firm of E.R. Langell in trying to get new innovation involved there, with Group Savoy, also in my hometown. And we've been working with companies like that for a considerable period of time. So there are many garment businesses. Getting back to Warewell, and I think members will recall that I introduced a private members bill in relationship to sweatshops. And it's amazing It's simply amazing that we have a company like Warewell, a company like Stanfield's, that they continue to operate despite the things that are happening within that garment industry. Almost everything you pick up, Mr. Speaker, in a shopping center is made in China or in Bangladesh or India or Haiti and a host of other countries that have sweatshops. And here we have a business like Warewell that continues to operate, and it continues to operate well. Warewell has had leadership from Fraser McLean, and I would like to point out to this House that Fraser McLean was an honorable member of this House. He was a Conservative member for Pictou Centre, and he is, in fact, a visionary. Now, I shouldn't say, and I don't think it's really true, but when you mention conservative and visionary, one might sometimes think, that could in fact be an oxymoron, but I don't think that is the case. He certainly served in the House before the times of breaking promises and so on. I want to talk about the situation with Warewell and its operation in Pictou County, despite some of the things that are happening, and to look for a moment at that sweatshop bill that we talked about at one time. Because we are, in fact, dealing with situations as we go into various stores around our constituencies. And I'll tell you two stories. First of all, I'm looking one day for a power cord. So I go to Canadian Tire, and being a Pictou County Scot, I see one on sale, real good price, lower quality. I look at it, made in China. There were 6 different power bars in that store. Each one of them I turned over. Made in China, made in China, made in China. I mean, even when we celebrate some events in our province, we have things that come from Haiti, and all kinds of trinkets that are purchased sometimes come from China. There are all kinds of things that we deal with. I was looking for office furniture in my constituency office. I had a limited amount of money to work with, and I go to a local store, a local family business, Dobson's in Stellarton, in Pictou Centre, and I go into that store and I look at some chairs that are very good quality, and I say, these chairs have to be Canadian because they're very, very good. So I say, I need 4 of these for my office, a little boardroom table, and 2 for my constituency assistant's office. And I get 4 of one kind, 2 of another. So I say to the salesperson, all 6 of those are made in Canada. No, the 4 you've ordered for your office, they were made in China. I mean, this is the kind of thing that Warewell and other companies are up against. I canceled the order. I had to go to a catalog to get Canadian made. It had to be ordered in. I mean, these are the things that Warewell is dealing with. It's amazing that we have situations that exist like this throughout our constituencies. So I was going to go into all of the products that were made at Warewell, and I did some very quick researching to find out some more information on Warewell. However, the member for Pictou Centre did in fact go through the different products and so on. But I would like to talk about perhaps a similar business in my constituency, which contributes, like all do, to the economy, and that is, in fact, the McGregor Custom Machining Limited. A parallel here, 55 full-time jobs and the same amount of money, the $5 to $10 million in sales annually in business, and it's been in operation since 1975. It's almost a parallel to Warewell. So I'm talking about another company that has a similar contribution, and there are many of them in Pictou County, many of these businesses, and this one continues to expand. It's leasing another building. It's involved with precision machinery. It is involved with the manufacturing of boat shafts and precision machining. It's a great company, and it's one that is contributing equally to the economy of Pictou County. So I commend all of these businesses in Pictou County that contribute so much to so many. And thank you very much, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you. Chair now recognizes the honourable member from Cape Breton South.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. It's a pleasure to join the debate this evening on to a cast of thousands, I might add, on the adjournment debate brought forward by the member from Pictou Centre. And once you read something like this, you say, well, I now have an opportunity to rise in my place in the House and talk about perhaps a similar circumstance to this in my own area of Cape Breton. And I want to refer to two particular gentlemen who have contributed much to the community of Sydney over the past number of years. And they've done so by operating businesses not unlike the kind of business that the other members were talking about. But these two are two gentlemen with perhaps a difference, Mr. Speaker. They're both immigrants. One is a Jewish immigrant, and the other one was a Lebanese immigrant from many, many years ago. And their names were Jack Yazar, who came from Poland, I believe. He's a Jewish person, came from Europe, and Elias Jabali, who immigrated from Lebanon years ago. And those gentlemen came to Sydney with virtually nothing and started businesses. In Mr. Yazar's case, he traveled Cape Breton, first of all, selling his wares over the Cabot Trail and to all the little villages from Sydney to Port Hawkesbury and back, and did so with a pack of materials. And in the case of Mr. Jabali, he came over and opened up a tailor shop, and he made suits for people. And when that was fashionable a few years back, when you could get a half-decent suit, that was made locally, and Mr. Jabali put suits together for customers, and his customer base grew, and so his business grew, and so then he was employing people. And in Mr. Yazar's case, he opened up a store, and I know that the government House leader is well aware of the impact that Jack Yazar and his brother Mendel, had on the community in Sydney. Not only was Yazar Brothers over a period of years one of the finest men's stores that perhaps ever opened in the Sydney area, family owned and with excellent wares to sell. And Jack himself became a citizen extraordinaire, I guess, because he was involved with the things like the Children's Aid Society. He was involved with a youth group called Youth Speaks Up, which I know the Justice Minister is familiar with. And many, many other community endeavors. And like him, Mr. Jabali was involved with service clubs, Kinsman Club, and I believe Rotary, and a couple of other, I'm not sure it was Rotary Kiwanis, but it was one of the others. Once he got over 40, he had to leave the Kinsman Club, and like many of us, we were booted out at 40, so we had to go into some other service club, and he went on to continue to serve in a service club in the Sydney area. But the point I'm making, Mr. Speaker, is both of these gentlemen were immigrants, come over with nothing, and made a good living in Sydney by providing good quality clothing. And in the case of Mr. Yazar, it expanded into a hands-on operation. You'd never went into Yazar's when you didn't find Mr. Yazar himself there. And if he could help you himself, he did. He employed a number of people who stayed with him for many, many years in that business. And Mr. Jabaley went on to open up a real estate business in Sydney, very successful real estate business, and employs a number of people. And both of these did so very successfully, Mr. Speaker, because they offered a good product, and they offered service, and they offered the hands-on approach to doing business. And it stood both of them in very good stead over the years, Mr. Speaker. And I know that many of us who literally grew up around Mr. Yazar's stores and Mr. Jabaley's business often reflected on the fact that, you know, aren't we lucky that we have the kind of immigrants like these gentlemen who could come into our area, start from nothing, and make a good living. And Jack's family have all done well in our area, and Elias Jabaley's family as well. So, you know, I congratulate the member for Pictou for highlighting the fact that Wherewell Garments of Pictou County has done so well, and I congratulate the member, and it gave me the opportunity to, for a few brief moments here, to talk about a couple of success stories in my area. Now, there are many other success stories, Mr. Chairman, Mr. Speaker, but I highlighted those two because of the extraordinary circumstances surrounding their coming to Cape Breton, and they're doing so well in the community there. And Mr. Yazar is still living, and so is Mr. Jabaley, of course, but Mr. Yazar is still doing whatever he can for the community, and I believe he's, if he's not 90, he's approaching 90 in terms of age. And yes, and he was appointed a citizenship judge, Mr. Speaker, as well. And I don't think he's well enough now to continue to do that, but he has been a citizenship judge for a few years. And I was lucky enough to be at a few ceremonies when people were given their Canadian citizenship in our area, and he would remark about his own situation, about coming from Europe. And having the challenges, I guess, that accompanied him here, and how proud he was to become a Canadian citizen, and how proud he is to be a Cape Bretoner. And the same was for Mr. Jabaley, because both of those gentlemen came from troubled areas, Mr. Speaker. And when they reached the Cape Breton community, they never hesitated to tell the rest of us who take it for granted that what a wonderful country Canada is, and what opportunities are here in Canada, and if it's Cape Breton or if it's Victoria, BC, or wherever. You know, we're very lucky in this country to have a country like Canada, when all you have to do, if you doubt that at any time, is talk with Jack Yazar or talk with Elias Jabaley about the situations that were happening in Europe when they were growing up. And it speaks volumes about the number of people who have come over to our little area of Cape Breton and done very well. And this weekend, there's a celebration at the Jewish synagogue in Sydney regarding the Holocaust. And while the numbers are getting smaller and smaller in terms of the living immigrants, particularly the Jewish immigrants in our community, the ones, if you look down the roster of the Jewish community, they've all done well in our community. And it's become not only a celebration of remembrance, Mr. Speaker, but it's become a celebration of the lives of the people who have immigrated and come to Cape Breton and have done very well in Cape Breton. And you see how proud they are, and they don't forget their past. And they insist that the story continue to be told about the struggles in Europe in the 30s and the 40s, particularly during the Hitler regime. And despite all of that, and despite the kinds of obstacles that were put in their way, they've been very successful. And you have to take your hat off to those people, because they believe that they can make a difference in the community, and they have made a difference in the community. Both Mr. Jabaley and Mr. Yazar have tremendous careers, and the list goes on. And I know that my friend, the government House Leader, knows of many people in our area in Cape Breton that have
have achieved greatness, both economically in terms of their businesses, but also in terms of community support and community endeavors. They lead the list. And, you know, we should feel a little bit taken back by the fact that the immigrants come into our area, they realize how great a country Canada is, and they contribute, in most cases, much more greatly than the rest of us contribute in our communities, because we sometimes take this great country Canada for granted. And I think that we should learn a lesson from immigrants that you can succeed in Canada, you can make a good life for yourself, you can make a start here, and you can raise your family here in the safety of this country, this great country Canada, and the land of opportunity, Mr. Speaker. And Mr. Jabley and Mr. Yazar have certainly proven that. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you. I want to thank all the honourable members for having taken part in tonight's late debate. The motion for adjournment has been made. The House stands adjourned until 12 noon tomorrow.